Welcome to the Renee Report, bringing you issues of topical interest. Hello everyone, I'm Renee Mehrra and welcome to the Renee Report, bringing you issues of topical interest. I'm here at the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens and I'm talking to one of the most iconic filmmakers of India, Mr. Mani Ratnam ji, who's here, and his three movies, Dil Se, Bombay and Roja, being shown over here, and it's a delight to talk to one of the most prolific, prominent India's filmmakers. Mani Ratnam ji, welcome to New York, and great to see your movies that have come out over here, because your movies have a unique style, very amazingly crafted scenes, and there has that signature of Mani Ratnam right over there. So, and you have revolutionized the Tamil language cinema and Indian cinema. Let's go back to 1983 when you first had your film Anu Pallavi Anu, and that was starring Anil Kapoor. Then after that there was Manu Ragam. And but the interesting part is that your father, of course, it's in your blood. Filmmaking is in your blood. Your father was a very famous distributor, and so was your brother. And here you had studied management, and you actually wanted to be a management consultant. How did it come back to movies where your family was?
Yeah, I never thought I would take this up as a career. I was in consultancy, but I was always interested in cinema. But I thought I was just a viewer, with a little more passion than the person sitting next to me, probably. But after a year and a half, when I was shifting jobs, I thought I'll give it a shot. I thought I'll take a break and see whether I would like to do this, because that was the time I thought I could take a risk. I could see whether I had a flair for it, and decided to take a chance.
What a chance, and that's the chance, the best chance for everybody to get the opportunity to see your work, which is such a great, amazing work, because you pick simple stories like, women having a platonic relationship in an arranged marriage that she doesn't, an orphan, living with two more children, or about political thrillers, whether we see Nayakan, where you brought Kamal Hassan, or whether it's Roja, where, A.R. Rahman was discovered. All these movies have, everybody can relate, a person, anybody, the public can relate, community at large can relate, because they're so relatable themes and concepts, yet you make those tales into most gripping, riveting stories. What goes on when you see the storyline and how you project it on the big screen? Because it's such a successful art that you brought out.
No, I was very clear right from the beginning that I was making films in the mainstream format. I wanted my films to reach a lot of people, and there've been several filmmakers before me who've done amazing films, but in a mainstream format. There's been Gurudat before us, there was Mother India, there was Mehboob Khan, there are amazing number of filmmakers who made excellent films, but they made it with music, with a popular format, reaching a lot of people. So it is possible to make, popular cinema, but with enough sensibility, and make it as realistic as possible. So there was already a path that was made for you. So you just have to continue further. They just made your job a lot easier.
A lot of people think popular cinema is all about romance and it's all about song and dance, but popular cinema can also have very hard-hitting themes. A lot of people in parallel cinema, they think that that's it, we are the ones who are talking about reality that's on the periphery, but we are right in the epicenter of these themes. But yet popular cinema can also address those themes and make it very enticing and captivating for the audience. And you do that.
I think today, the lines are getting blurred.
Yes.
Really, they don't so rigidly exist as popular and as parallel cinema. They've kind of merged together. They've take one step this side and that side. So it's I think good times are ahead. There are films, new filmmakers who are coming and making absolutely brilliant films. So I think it's wonderful if you have an opportunity to reach with something serious to a lot of people, and to be able to communicate something which is relevant, which they can identify with, and which they can sympathize or emote with the film, with the characters in the film.
So 1983 to 2015 is a long journey of amazing work of films that you put out, whether it's in Tamil language or whether it's in Bombay cinema, which of course you did Bombay. um, and yet, this journey is something that if you look back, the evolution of Mr. Mani Ratnam, right from 83 to 2015. What do you see? So much has gone by. The global cinema has come in. The marketing strategies are different. The whole audience is changing. We're looking at an international audience looking at Indian cinema. So this, in your personal journey and your professional journey that intersects over here, where do you see Indian cinema going with you as a pillar?
No, I think Indian cinema really is at a threshold of a huge change. I think the newer cinema that are coming out just outstanding. So some brilliant work is happening in Indian cinema today. In fact, just about a couple of weeks back, I was in London and saw a Marathi film called Court. I don't know whether they've seen it, but it's absolutely brilliant. There's so many gems like that are being produced in India. I think what happened with Indian writing in English, a few decades back. I think similar kind of change, I hope, will happen with Indian cinema. I think we will make films which are, which will have an international appeal, and there are youngsters who are coming and, they're just breaking barriers and, changing every rule and making great cinema. I think this is just the start of it.
And on a personal level, tell us about this journey from 83 to 2015.
I think, in a strange way, it still looks the same. Every film looks like a first film. Every film I honestly mean it. When you start a film, you still don't know how to reach the other side of the shore. So you struggle, and you have a concept, you have written it down, but still you don't know how to reach that. You don't want to do what you've done before. You don't want to fall back on methods you've used before. So the unknown is what keeps it fascinating. The fact that you don't know how to reach across is what keeps you going, and you explore, you try to push yourself, hopefully, but sometimes you might fall down, but if you're not scared of, and if you're confident that you can get up and run again, then you keep trying.
They made these films, Gitanjali, then Anjali. I think Anjali was a great film. With a great gripping tale.
It was India's entry in for India for Academy Award, and that is picked by a group of producers together. So I think it's fine. I think Oscar or Academy Award is one recognition. It is not the only recognition. So if something wins, it's very good. But you don't make a movie thinking that is what you're aiming at. You make a movie because you think there's a story to tell. You think you want to talk about this girl, this child called Anjali, and that's all you wanted to do. And if you've done it, and if it reaches a few people, then you're very happy with it.
That's amazing, because I think that story will resonate with so many people all around. That's what I meant when all your stories are so relatable, and they touch a pulse in all of us. And the way you put it in a unique Mani Ratnam signature over it only makes it much more bigger and than life. And now your latest film that you just put out a few months ago, Okay Kanmani, and that means hello darling, okay darling.
Yeah. It's a very simple film. It's a love story. It's set in today's time, the way the youngsters today are looking at relationship. India is changing. Urban India is changing. It's getting a lot of influence from the West. The attitudes are changing. I think globalization has brought attitudes of youngsters, whether they live in Bombay or Chennai or in New York, seems to be, not too drastically different. Their attitudes are very, very similar. So their ideas of relationship is changing. But beneath that, there is still a lot of Indianness in each one of them. So the film really deals with that contradiction.
I think that's also here with the NRIs and our young generations over here. The Indianness always sticks around somewhere. it rears its head everywhere. And India being now going to be very soon the youngest population in the world, so the whole dynamics are changing with the new demographics. Will you be projecting more of this, like you're talking about the younger generation, the youth, on their themes, on sometimes a confused state of mind, the social media, where it's going, how it's changing everybody's life?
Yeah, I think it's all changing. I mean, it even if I don't do, everybody else will, somebody else will do. I mean, you should. There's so many issues which are there, which calling to be made into films. I'm sure somebody or the other will make great films out of these things. And you do a film only if you think that you can take an idea and convert it wholesomely into a movie. It's only when it all falls into place that it can get transferred into a film. So you wait for that.
And you have made such a whole body of films that people love to talk about. Tell us the work ethic from going from South into Mumbai. It's a very different scene altogether. Was it like a big transition for you when you moved into talking about movies like Dil Se or Bombay or Roja?
Actually, not really. I mean, it's not, a film is a film, and it's anyway tough to do. So, uh, the only difference was that when I did a film in Hindi, since I don't speak Hindi so well, I trust the actors a lot more than I trust when I do it in Tamil. So I pull them more into the film, make them a part, integral part of them. But all of them are equally interested in doing a film. So I think once they know that the entire team is driven towards a project, they all come in, and I never had a problem. They're all fantastic people to work with, and they would go the extra mile. They'll do anything for the film, and actors are somebody who really love to you know be a part of it when they know that the entire team is working towards a goal.
Are you an actor's director?
I hope so. I get paid for it. I think that's the most important thing, in the sense that whatever you do, how much ever you prepare, how much ever detail you write on table, you know, it is the actors who have to make it alive, who have to make it believable, who have to make it look like it was not conceived, but it just happened. I mean, they have to bring life to those words, to that scene. It is so unless I make them invest a little bit of themselves into each and every character, into each and every scene, then I wouldn't be doing my job. So I trust my actors, and I try to pull them in as much as possible into the character. So they are the ones who give it life.
What's your vision for Indian cinema?
I think Indian cinema is just changing drastically. Like I was telling you, I think with this transition to digital, and this attitude in India where films are no longer such a big taboo. It is all right to have that as your career and look at it as a prospective goal. So there are lot more educated people, and people who have imaginative ideas, and somewhere the blend between literature and cinema is happening, I feel now. And I think the next lot that's going to come is going to change. It's going to be really a game changer.
Would you, as you said, the world is shrinking, and it's global cinema now. Would you be making any collaborative efforts with Bollywood filmmakers as well?
I think every film
Bollywood.
yeah, if something comes up, I mean, it's not the what language you do and which market you do is depends on the subject that you deal with. So either way, it's going to be tough, whether you do it for a small market or for a big market. The bigger the market is, the more broader the issue should be, that it should be able to relate it. So if some project comes in which is right, and which I think I'll be able to do justice, yeah, I will.
You have tackled so many stories, Mr. Ratnam, all gripping. And you talked about youth, the changing face of Indian cinema, the changing face of India with the youth emerging. Any particular themes that you want to address in the next decade that really captures everybody's attention?
I hope so.
Which you have done so far already.
I hope I have to make a living for the next 10 years. And I'd love to keep making movies, so I hope I'll be able to find enough things to, make stories about.
And would you do anything over here with the NRIs? In the US, will you be shooting any film, working on any project here since you're in New York right now?
As of now, no. I mean, we don't. I don't have a subject which is based here. But if the film is shot where the story takes you, where it's set and where it drags you. So that dictates. Once you have a script in hand, that kind of dictates where you go. So if it happens that way, then I'll do.
Most of the time, it's like a filmmaker is intuitive that, oh, this story is going to actually gel with everybody. And is that the intuition that really works with the experience behind it all?
I think you do every film with that intuition. When you don't start a film saying this is not going to work, you think it's going to work, and sometimes it doesn't. So you should just have the courage to accept it and move on. But you have to have faith in each one of them, because you invest something like a year and a half, 2, 3, sometimes into each film. So it should be worth it.
Are you spiritual?
Spiritual? Well, that's a good question. I'm not religious. I'm not a believer. Maybe spirituality is something else which I have to discover. Mm.
Well, thank you so much. Mani Ratnam, India's biggest, most prominent filmmaker of all times, here at the Museum of the Moving Image for his movies that have been shown, Roja, Bombay, and Dil Se. I'm Renee Mehrra. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Mr. Ratnam.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hope you like this video. Please share and subscribe, and stay healthy, stay positive. I'm Dr. Renee Mehrra.